Okay, good day. My name is Preston Hayes, and today we're going to do a little interview with my wife, Zethany Hayes. We are going to ask some questions and figure out how Zethany experienced socialization growing up. Without further ado. So, Zethany, how old are you?
I'm 40.
You're 40 years old. Already? Oh, okay. And do you identify with a gender?
Yes, female.
How many genders are there, Zethany?
Just two.
That's not part of the questions. Anyhow, and what ethnicity do you belong to?
I was born in Guatemala, so I'd say Guatemalan.
Okay. But you were adopted when you were 6 months old into America?
Yeah, but we're still identifying what my nationality is, heritage. You wouldn't consider me white. That might be my culture, but my ethnicity is the color of my skin and where I was born.
It could be race.
Culture. We're talking about culture and ethnicity.
Okay. And where's your hometown?
Where I grew up was in Newburgh, Oregon. I guess now I'd say Myrtle Creek.
Okay. And growing up, throughout your lifespan, what was your family size?
We had a family of 5 in the beginning, and then my parents divorced, so then it was my mom, and so that was 4, and the kids, and then they both ended up remarrying. So if I was a total everybody, my stepdad had children. He had 3, so then that's 6, 8, and then on my dad's side, he remarried, and she had 2, so then we'd have 7. So I have 2 different sets of families. They're both fairly large.
Yeah, it beats my family size of 4. Okay, and what is your educational level?
I have a associate's degree in science / nursing.
Okay.
Like social science.
Take us through a brief synopsis of your job history.
I guess I did kind of entry level in the beginning, my teenage years up to 20. And then at about 24, 25, I went and got a certification for a certified nursing assistant. And I did that for at least 10, 11 years. And I finally decided to increase my education level and go back to school at about 37 and get an associate's degree in nursing.
Okay, so the next question we're going to ask is some of the personality characteristics and temperaments that you were born with. Can you identify any of those?
A personality characteristic is that my temperament. Let's start with that. I'd say I'm easygoing, kind of go with the flow. And then my personality would be laid back and kind of quiet, and I just kind of like my time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You understand other people quite well. Seems to be a good personality characteristic. You're caring.
Oh, yeah. Caring and patient, and I have integrity. I guess one of my weaknesses would be to ask for help and assistance and guidance.
Do you put others before yourself?
Yes, I put others before myself.
And are you able to control your mood? Does your mood go from 0 to 100 miles per hour? Or
I'd say
are
maybe.
you able to temper it at 20 miles per hour?
Oh, I can definitely temper it at 20. And I would have an example just from work. A lot of people have been apologizing to me because they're so angry and so short with me, even though I come in with a kind manner, and I stick with that kind manner. No matter how much people, may be frustrated at me or say hurtful things.
Interesting. That's good to know. Throughout your life, I'm sure there's many people that influenced you either in positive or negative ways. What people would have had a positive influence in shaping who you are today?
I would have to say my mom or my sister, because those are the ones I was closest with when I was growing up.
How did they
taught me.
influence your life?
Well, I guess being the youngest, I've always looked up to my sister and always followed things that she liked or was interested in until I was old enough to identify who I was. The siblings following your older siblings, kind of like tradition,
How about your mom and her career? Did that have any influence on you becoming a nurse?
Actually, no, it didn't. I knew I wanted to be in the healthcare field. I've always was intrigued with the body and knowing how it all functions. I decided to end up being a nurse because I was a CNA for so long, and everyone encouraged me to go back to school, like my peers at work and my family that I currently, my intermediate family. So I did so.
There's a lot of people that played roles then in shaping who you are today.
Yeah.
So what are certain factors or some things that kind of played some key roles in who you are today?
Key
Like
factors.
not people, but like what are some of the things that maybe either happened or took place that helped you get to the place that you're at today?
So in the beginning, in teenage years, 20 years, I didn't have a lot of support then, so I made my own decisions and maybe picked the wrong crowd to hang out with and was influenced with partying and drinking. And then about 25, 26, 27, I kind of like my eyes were opened up and realizing that wasn't really a path that I needed to go down anymore, and ended up marrying and having a family. And after having children, it definitely motivated me more to become an influence for them and influence them.
Yeah. Good answer. You kind of already hit on how family and friends played a role in shaping who you became. One of the things you didn't hit on is some of those negatives. So who had a negative impact on who you became, or did any of your enemies play a role in shaping who you become as well?
I would say a scenario that's come to mind is when I was 18, I got kicked out of the house for drinking and drugs, and that kind of left me feeling where I had no support. And I think that negative feeling comes about today, maybe I don't lean on people enough and ask for help, like I had mentioned earlier.
Do you have any enemies? growing up?
No.
Okay. So you've experienced quite a bit from different types of, um, I guess, different lifestyles. You've experienced different lifestyles, and throughout that time, are there any experiences that played a profound role in shaping who you become today?
Can you reword that question one more time?
Are there any experiences that you went through that has shaped who you are today?
Yeah, I guess maybe start living on my own, like, early on. I think 18, 19, 20 is kind of pretty early to have little guidance and make your own decisions as far as the world goes. And then marriage, of course. Marriage kind of, I guess maybe it was just a whole new chapter, love and excitement and creating a family and then having children, and then that having children, being in marriage, kind of makes you grow up and makes you more motivated to become a stronger person for the people that look up to you. And then my education, going back to school and really having a career and having that career and helping to build my life based on like having money to be able to provide for my family and having a home and a car and providing for them that way.
I'm really over time, so this last question. How did you influence somebody else's life to become who they are today? Or is there anybody that you can think of that you influenced?
I would start with maybe being a CNA. Some of the people that I worked with weren't as caring as I was, and maybe saw some ambition in me that they could do better at their position at being a nursing assistant. And then also I would have influenced my children. Education is important.
I think of Nicole too, that you going through nursing school inspired her to go back to school, now looking at nursing.
Yeah, going through the education process and striving through not just the education for myself, but having my children around me see that you can overcome hardships and multiple tasks that you have to do to get there.
The irony of that is, the other day you mentioned how you're more of a follower, or you have been, and by what you just said, you're actually leading other people to do better and to be better. So, good job, congratulations, that's why I love you, and thank you, teacher, we're done.